If we observe now, we have HTTP-quality option listed here as well. And that is the beauty of launchSettings.json file. Hi everyone, welcome back to Usman Code. In today's video, we will see what is the purpose of launchSettings.json file, which exists inside properties folder. You can see that there is a file here and there are some configurations placed. And before that, let's recap what we did in our last video. We read the values from the configuration, which is appSettings.json file in .NET 8.0, and we read that through options pattern, but we try to read with the validations as well. And that is the video here. If you go to my playlist that is related to the .NET C# read configs, you can find all different variations of reading configurations from appSettings.json file. And this is creating the pace for us because there is a lot to do and lot to cover. I already shared that couple of times, and today we are just touching another very important point, which is launchSettings.json file. Let's go back to our file here and we can see that. Let's try to examine this file, what content it has. So by looks of it, it seems like there is standard schema we are following. There is a reference at the top, then we have couple of settings, and these settings are related to IIS settings. That's fine. And there are a couple of profiles like HTTP, HTTPS, and IIS Express. And we can understand when we want to run application on plain HTTP when with HTTPS, and we know that when we run the application on local machine, it runs using self-signed certificates, which is fine for the development. And we can also run the application on IIS Express as well. And if we see our menu bar here in our Visual Studio, we can see there is a drop down here and with the run icon, and if we click that, we can see and visualize those settings here: HTTP, HTTPS, and IIS Express. Awesome. So why this file is useful for us? We are not going to cover each and every property listed here. We will start with a single variable, which is our environment variables. Right, we can see environment variables are mentioned here in each object, and by default those comes with the development value. And interestingly, if you see the appSettings.json file inside your project, there is a expand icon as well. If you click on that, you can see appSettings.development.json, which means at any point of time our template has two versions, two copies. One is global appSettings.json and the other one is appSettings.development.json. And that development piece, that development keyword is directly linked to this keyword here, right? And let me demonstrate how it is. So I'm using the same example which we have covered for this one, and you might see the variables in configuration file are same. That's fine. We can still use the same example because we want to see how launchSettings.json is linked with our appSettings.json file. So by default there are two files, and to see that, let's go to the container folder, and here you can see that appSettings.json file and appSettings.development.json file. So let's try to add another file in the same project, and let me copy paste this one. Let's copy this one from here and add on the root. That's fine. And let's try to rename it. Let's name that file is, this is going to be our quality environment. As soon as I change that keyword to quality, we can see that now it start appearing as a child of appSettings.json. So which means at this point of time, we have three versions of appSettings.json. One is global, one is for quality, and one is for development. We can also see that here. If I just appSettings.development, appSettings, and appSettings.quality.json. All right. So that is the first step. And what we are going to achieve with that launch settings.json file to run same application in the development environment with different set of settings or configurations. So if we conclude, launch settings.json is only for the development environment or the local machines where we want to run our code against different set of configurations, right? Either we want to run on the top of HTTP, HTTPS, IIS Express, or IIS server as well. For now, we are considering using just these three environments, and let's try to make a copy of, let's say, HTTP only, and we will put at the very bottom, and we can place it here, and we can name it, we want HTTP but for the quality environment, or maybe we can just use a capital Q here just to relate this quality with this app settings.quality.json file. Now the only change we need is to update development to quality. That's fine. And let's go here, and just to test the application, let me rename this to quality.example@mail.com. That is fine. And in the development, I can use dev.example@mail.com. Awesome. Let's rebuild the application and run once to see the results. So we can see that now we have email dev.example@mail.com. And why is that so? Because in that dropdown we have that HTTP selected. And if we observe now, we have HTTP quality option listed here as well. And that is the beauty of launchSettings.json file. Without changing our code, without changing our configuration or replacing our configuration in those files, we can just rerun the application for a specific environment, for a specific set of configuration. And this idea comes from every team which develops software has different environments where team develop, test, demo the client, and finally release that code to the production. So for all these different environments, we create different set of configurations. So this is just to support the developers that without changing their code or replacing the configuration each time, they can maintain all different set of configuration. Although we should not have production related settings on the development machines, but we can definitely cover development, quality, or maybe staging as well. And we have our new entry in launch settings.json file as well with HTTP and the quality environment. And let's add another copy, and we want to give user or developer an option to run the quality environment against HTTPS on the local machine. So we can use that here, and we can just rename it HTTPS dash quality. And here we just need to change this to quality. And now let me just build the application once. And now let's see what are the different options. We have two options for quality now as well, HTTP dash quality and HTTPS dash quality. Let's go with HTTP dash quality now and rerun the application. Remember, on the page we previously had dev.example@mail.com. Let's see what we have now. Now we have quality.example@mail.com, which is inside our quality settings file, not in our development settings file. And this is how, by changing the configuration option here, we can switch to different set of settings. All right, now let's try HTTPS test quality and rerun the application and see how it works. So this time we have application running on HTTPS, and the value is quality.example@mail.com. Just to retest again and confirm, let's switch that back to HTTPS. And we know that in HTTPS object we have environment development set. So let's rerun the application and see the change. Now we have dev.example@mail.com. So this is how we can control the configurations for each environment during development on our local machine, and we can just switch the environment with a single selection from that dropdown. I hope that video is useful, and in case of any questions or queries, do ask me in the comment. And believe me, there is much more coming for the configurations related topic, and I will be putting all those video with the same playlist. I hope that video was useful. If it is, click on the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next one.